Hey everyone, Whitney here with a quick message from the sponsor of this video, Green Mountain Services. Join us for the 6th annual Cerebral Palsy Conference on October 1st and 2nd, 2021. This is a virtual event that can be attended by the comfort of your own home. There will be 2 days of networking, sessions, and high-quality, award-winning speakers. Registration is free. Go to cerebralpalsyconference.org for more information. Providing cerebral palsy advocates an event for networking and education. Hope to see you there. Hey guys, this is Whitney and welcome back to another episode of Spastic Chatter. Spastic Chatter is a platform meant to feature those in the cerebral palsy community, and I get together weekly with individuals with CP, like myself, to have an uncensored chat, if you will, about what it's like living with this type of disability. And for this week, I have Zach. And the way I came across Zach and his story is that we are actually co-workers. We both work at Diversibility. And I thought that he would be a perfect person to interview on Spastic Chatter because he also has cerebral palsy and he just graduated college from UC Berkeley and he's starting his career. So I wanted to have him on. So I'll let Zach introduce himself and then we'll get on to the conversation. So take it away, Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach. I'm Zach. Thank you for having me. I was born with cerebral palsy. I was actually adopted because my birth mother was 16-year-old, and the family couldn't take care of me, so I was adopted and came to America at 4 months.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about you. Yeah. So I'm learning all about Zach along with all of you watching this.
I was really malnourished. I was only like 10 pounds at 4 months.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was bad.
So I kind of want to. The first question I usually ask my guests is, how was your childhood growing up with cerebral palsy? Because, like we said before this, cerebral palsy is known to be a childhood disability, but those children grow up to be adults. So one of the questions I always ask is, what was your experience like as a child? I know that's a weird question because I'm like, if I was asked that question, I'd be like, well, it was just a normal childhood, but do you have anything that stands out for you?
Sort of. So with how do I say this? Some cerebral palsy, there's some intellectual disabilities associated with cerebral palsy. Mm-hmm. So, when I was in grade school, in high school, I was the first cerebral palsy wheelchair person that went through the entire schooling with no special ed classes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was.
I can kind of relate to that because I went through a general ed, and I was the only person with a physical disability in my school district with the that was general ed. But how big was your school? Like, was it a big school or like small?
Well, I don't know how big the elementary school was, but like I know high school was like over 1,000 people.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my high school was small. My graduating class was only like 40 students. So yeah.
We had like 400 graduating students.
Yeah, so your school is a lot bigger than mine. So like you go through the schooling system, you graduated high school. What was your like path after high school? Did you go straight into college, or what was that like?
So I went to community college. So during community college, it took a long time. I'm not because one semester I dropped, and we can actually get into that. But and then I and then I didn't take any summer classes. So so like it took longer. So I was actually in community college for like 5 years, which is then I got into UC Berkeley, and then I was there for 4 years.
That's awesome. There's no shame in like taking that long to like get a degree. Like yeah, like it doesn't matter the length of your journey as long as you got that end result, you got the degree. That's all that matters.
And
Um,
then, and now I'm thinking about getting a master's degree or finding a job somewhere.
yeah,
I would probably get a master's degree though.
yeah, that's what I did. I graduated with my bachelor. I did the same thing that you did. I did community college first, and then I went into my bachelor's, and then I couldn't find a job with just a bachelor's. So I was like, well, if I can't find a job, I might as well just go back to school. So I went back to school and got my master's, and here I am today. Um, but so what is your degree from UC Berkeley?
Social welfare.
That's awesome. So what made you get into that social welfare?
You want so okay. I was going into psychology because psychology is cool, and I like psychology. But but so when I went to community college, I was going to go to another school, like a state school that didn't have as nearly as rigorous requirements for to get in.
Yeah.
So I was going to go to that school, but then my advisor said to apply for UC Berkeley because that's the school I wanted to go. So I applied. Actually, it's kind of funny because the state school accepted me like 2 weeks. Like it was so fast. And then like 2 months later, they sent me another email saying you're still accepted, but that earlier acceptance letter was a mistake.
So the acceptance letter was a mistake.
Yeah,
So
but no, I was still accepted, but I got it like 2 weeks after I sent my application.
so it was really fast.
Yeah,
So
and the speed was a mistake.
the
Normally,
speed. the fastness was a mistake.
Yeah.
So I have in Berkeley, it was always like in high school. If you asked me my dream school and like what I wanted to do, Berkeley was my top school I wanted to go to. But I was kind of intimidated by the acceptance criteria and like just that it was like out of state and stuff. But that's beside the point. Did Berkeley like intimidate you like by like applying, or were you just like I got this like
So after I got accepted for the state school, I was waiting for my Berkeley application to go through, and then in the summer I got waitlisted, and then like the last day I could get in, I got in, and then my family and me were debating on what school to pick, so I chose Berkeley. So that's why I went to Berkeley. But for psychology, I couldn't do psychology because I didn't have the prerequisites. So that's why I chose social welfare, because social welfare was close enough to psychology, and I could get in relatively easy. So that's why I chose social welfare. But so psych so I was like, okay, so when I was doing the application for UC Berkeley, I figured something out about myself. I'm good at school, but I'm not good at filling out applications. Because,
yeah
because I kind of read over, because in school you kind of just read over stuff, and then once you get a gist of it, you can once you only need to know like a little bit of it. So when I'm reading applications, I tend to like skim over stuff,
yeah
and then I get in trouble. But Booker
gotta
was
pay attention to detail.
yeah.
um so what was your like college experience like? Because I know that Berkeley is it's like on the forefront of accessibility. That's where Ed Roberts got his start out with the, and he's the like the father of the independent living movement. So like did you have like was the accessibility of Berkeley all that it's chalked up to be, or did you have like problems with that, or do you want to go into talking about that?
Berkeley was good. Overall great. I would probably give it A minus. A minus. There was some stuff that was weird, like they like they a lot of the time they fail to have accessible tables for me. Um, like I email. I don't think it's a disability service fault. I think it's whoever put in the tables in
Yeah,
fault. But
that was the only thing you faced is they didn't have the like the height the tables for you.
yeah, but like one the first time it happened, it took like 3 months to get in. It was insane.
That's crazy.
So then when it happened the first time, then like I knew what to do.
Yeah,
Like so then when it didn't happen, like every week I would be emailing the DSP people and
yeah.
be You need to give me a table. You need to give me a table. And
Well, that's also kind of cool though because you were able to advocate for your needs because a
yeah,
lot of people like I don't want to say a lot of people, but there's some people that would just like deal with it like not like say hey I need this accommodation like for the tables they would just deal with it and nothing would nothing would change, you know what I mean? So kudos to you for advocating for yourself.
yeah. I was so, but there was another thing, but it was kind of weird. This one guy gave me like false information about parking, but that's nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Did you live on campus or did you like commute?
I admitted it was like 40 minutes away, so
Cool.
I could.
So what's kind of like talk about like your future and your future plans? What is what is your goals with your so you have your degree now. So what are some of your goals moving forward?
So that's the golden. So that's the golden question right now. I'm thinking about getting my master's degree in some sort of counseling, and then I really want to work for for a disability college service or disability counseling in college and school.
That was we kind of have a lot in common because that was one of my goals when I was in my master's program. I wanted to work in a disability services center at a college, but then it all changed. Um, so maybe this is just my advice. You can take it or leave it. If you wanted to do disability services like that type, maybe maybe think about like getting a master's in higher ed, like in a higher ed administration or whatever, because then you would have like the best of both worlds, you know, because
Yeah,
because you have all this disability experience, and then the higher ed the higher ed the higher ed would just take you to that college. It would give you the background for that college experience. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah. That's a good idea. Thank you for the advice.
No problem. So you kind of have a good fitting because you work for Diversibility, which is the disability uh organization. So
Yeah,
you have that going for you too.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
have you applied for any or like will you have you like put yourself out there after you graduated? Like have you put any feelers out in the like further your career? Or are you still in that or the in those first steps?
I'm still in the first steps, but at my community college, I know like a lot of because I went there for 6 years, so I have some really good ties to the disability service. I was thinking about I'm gonna go back there and talk to them and see if they have a job, if I can get
Awesome.
experience, and then after that, I would probably go get my master's degree either in counseling or higher ed, like you said, and then either go back to my community college or go to a different school and try to get a job
Yeah,
there.
that's awesome. And I know with the social welfare degree you like to do research. So I'm sure you've
Yeah.
done all the research you can about it. Um
Yeah, it was interesting because like so like I never like, so like since I was in general ed, I didn't really have that much contact with other disabled with people with disability. So like I never really thought about it. But then when I got into college, I needed to write a bunch of papers. So I decided to like really focus on disabilities. So every chance I got to write a paper, I did research for disability. Like did one about education, I did one about jobs, I did one about bullying, I did one about technology and education for disability. So like, so
yes.
in college, I started to like really look at disability, really, really look at discrimination, really look at like all these things.
I
Um,
think you bring up a good point because like you said, you didn't really focus on disability like until you reached your college age, and that's kind of the same way for me. Um like I feel like your college is like the time where you start to like find yourself and become more comfortable with yourself and like more accepting of yourself. So
yeah,
like for me, like growing up, I didn't want to be around other people with disabilities because I didn't want it to become like a woe is me pity party type of vibe. And that was at that time that's all that I found when I hung out with other people with disabilities. Like I just didn't want to. That's not how I wanted to live my life.
yeah.
And so
I definitely resonate with that. Um, so like, I mean, so when I got into kindergarten, right away, like people came up to me and like very friendly, and I made friends pretty easily, and then that carried me through high school, meeting new people, making new. So like, and it was in gen ed, so like no one really had physical disabilities, so it was kind of interesting
yeah,
that time.
yeah, and like I don't know about you, but as I'm like growing older and like, I'm an adult now, and granted I'm older than you are, but like I'm more like accepting of my disability, and I'm more prideful of it, and I'm like I'm like I I kind of I kind of gravitate towards the disability community in a sense, but if there's like injustices like towards disabled people or like in the disability community itself, I'm not afraid to like stand up for like what I believe in um as in when I was like growing up, I just didn't care. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
yeah. I think I'm the same way in a sense.
Yeah. So where I know you might not, you might correct me if I'm wrong, but you might not be as active on social media. But where can people find you on social media, Zach?
You can find me in the Divisibility Facebook community. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter. My Instagram is, I do not know. Zach. Hold on. Zach underscore K underscore 8. You can find me on Twitter, but most of the time, most yeah, most of the time, I'm talking about either video games or basketball.
Yeah,
I'm not really that big into um. I'm not really big into posting right now, but I'm thinking about making a YouTube channel soon.
that's awesome. Well,
So,
when you do, I'll update I'll update your episode with your link in it, and I'll put all your contacts in the description. And Zach, I kind of got ahead of myself. At the end of every episode, I ask my guests if they have any advice for others who are going through similar situations to us. And so do you have any advice for others who are watching this?
so um, yes. So you have to. So like the way I look at people is kind of different because everyone thinks takes their work at people like they are like good, and I take the other point of view. I think like if you say everyone is either like not well, it actually make it easier for yourself when you're like struggling in school, struggling in finding a job, struggling because there's 7 billion people are going through the same thing. So it's kind of just helpful to understand that people are struggling in so many different ways. That,
You're not alone in your struggle.
yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome advice. And thank you, Zach, for agreeing to be on Spastic Chatter. And I really enjoyed talking with you. And if you're watching this and you want to be on an episode, feel free to reach out. There's you can comment wherever you see this video, and or there's a form in the description you can fill out. And check back next week for another episode of Spastic Chatter. Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.